Lieutenant Colonel Denny Gillem is a recipient of the Purple Heart, 2 Purple Hearts, 7 awards for valor. He has served his country incredibly, and the question now, we're in a changing world right now, right? A changing time. Andrew, is he on 1 or 2? What's going on?
2.
It is 2. In a changing time right now where sexual issues in the military are becoming big. Women in the military, gays, men in the military. What does it all mean? The vice president says it'll make for a better military. What do the experts have to say? Lieutenant Colonel Denny Gillem on now. Thanks so much. What are your thoughts?
The vice president must have been smoking those funny cigarettes, or maybe the fact that he's never served and doesn't know anybody. Like his son was a JAG officer who served honorably and well.
Do you feel that this is just complicating? These are complications that, especially at this time in the world, we might not need.
Yes, that's a gentle understatement.
Yeah,
it is. It's crucial. The gays aspect, until, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, not quite that long ago, don't ask, don't tell. Man, gays could serve. They did serve. They served on well, but they could not be open about it.
Yeah.
Since the current administration abolished don't ask, don't tell, there's more male-on-male rape in our military than there is male-on-female rape. Now, that's not really good for morale. And it can happen anywhere, and you have to be really careful about reporting if it happens to you because it's not politically correct, and that is the driving mission, not mission accomplishment. Political correctness is the driving philosophy in our military today, and that's not good. Another aspect, let's say you and I are part of the 10-man Major or SEAL patrol, we'll send person because we're females, and we're sneaking around near the enemy, and we're doing really well, everybody's staying up. But you have to urinate. That's not an issue. Suppose a female does. Or it's that time of month and she needs several stops. Does that affect our combat readiness?
Christine,
according to the White House.
I want Christine to pipe in. She's a veteran. Your thoughts on the menstrual situation?
I think it's better that I don't comment on the
menstrual
situation.
How can you not comment?
I was in a career field where I was the only female, and I'm going to say that it posed unique challenges. The menstrual cycle was never one of them.
All right.
But I suspect you are not a SEAL or a Ranger.
Absolutely not. No.
And please don't let anything I say suggest that.
And I might agree with you in that capacity.
Don't serve honorably and well, and don't serve honorably and well in combat.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah.
It's a really good friend of mine and I served in Vietnam together. He ran an aircraft maintenance facility.
Yeah.
I ran an infantry rifle company. I was in close combat. He was not. We were both in combat. We both served well. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Several years ago, my wife and I did something together. Well, not exactly. We did the same year. We both got knee replacements. That's fun. I had mine first, and I was talking to the doc while he was preparing to do hers, and I was talking about, at least I know what's going on. And he said, well, Denny, yes, no. Her knee's not like your knee. Her thighs aren't like your thighs. Her muscle mass isn't like your muscle mass. Her bone density's not. And okay, so, I was in my 60s, and I'm learning about different girls.
Sure.
But they're different, and the lack of bone density means it wears out faster.
Do you? It has been said that for when it comes to being a fighter pilot, there was a study that I read somewhere that said that women actually make very good fighter pilots. So you're not saying, I'm clarifying here, you're not saying that women don't have key roles and could be in combat roles, maybe as a fighter pilot, but maybe.
Yes.
Okay,
that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
That's a great. As a matter of fact, if the two of you were fighter pilots, when you start pulling a lot of G's, you need a lot of pressure suit on your lower legs to keep from blacking out.
Yeah.
Whatever way, the way women's legs are built, women don't need that pressure on their legs. Their bodies respond to that better, easier. They're safer in that kind of situation.
Interesting. And
so we don't disagree that
on
much.
On the gay issue. I don't think there's any real question that plenty of gays, both men and women, have served this country and served the country honorably.
Honorably and well, yes, sir.
Your fear, though, is that as this is becoming an issue, it is a huge distraction and could really cost lives.
Yes. I don't remember how many times in combat it was cold and nasty, and I cuddled next to a guy to stay warm.
Yeah.
If that guy had been a gal, that could have been an issue. Or if that guy had been a guy who was interested in guys, that could have been an issue, and a huge issue.
Yeah.
Why do we need to go there? And the answer is we don't need to go there.
So
it's not to say anybody is more or less worthy, but it is saying it is an issue today. It's causing problems now, but we can't. It's not politically correct.
We're having a bad line on you, Denny, Lieutenant Colonel. You're cutting out a little bit, but Manasseh, go ahead.
I just want to follow up on the point you just made. I've never been in combat. This is an honest question. You're suggesting that. Am I right in that you are suggesting that in the combat on the field, there is some sexual spark that could happen if you're huddled up next to a woman, or you're huddled up next to someone who is gay who might be attracted to you? As someone who's never been there, it just seems to me that's the last thing you're thinking about in that situation.
Well, yes at times and no at times. One of the things psychologically that if a group of people, whether it's combat soldiers or kids in a middle school, are present during bloodletting, there's a strong push in all of us psychologically to reproduce shortly thereafter. But that's not the only point. Yeah, when we're fighting, nobody cares. But when you're finally able to relax, we've got three of us. One of us got to be alert all night,
sure.
So we're rotating through. You're finally relaxing. When you do get relaxed,
especially if you've been away for a long time. I mean, that certainly if you've been on at war for a long time. I mean, you can only imagine that one thing can lead to another. It certainly happens. I would think with when there were just nurses in the in military.
Yes.
Right, stuff happens.
Yes.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, all of this just adds complication. I think more than anything else, it just adds more complication in a career that doesn't. Complications can cause death. That's the scary part.
That's exactly right. And in most situations, if we were a maintenance unit or if we were a military police unit or something, we can get away from it.
Sure.
But if we're in an infantry, SEAL, Ranger type situation, we're living in the same foxhole together weeks and months at a time,
it could be an issue.
You can't get away from it.
Yeah.
And 20-year-olds like each other.
Lieutenant Colonel Denny Gillem, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Had a tough line on you, but it was really worth taking the time to speak with you. We appreciate it.
A pleasure, anytime.
Okay. Christine, you want to comment at all on that?
No, and actually,
probably pretty close.
Yeah, I think that there are some situations where women should not.
Andrew?
serve.
I mean, I think that his argument, I was with Jeff there. I don't think anybody's. I mean, that's like saying I'm not going to go to the bathroom with not to get into this issue again, but that's like saying I'm not going to, go to the gym or go to the bathroom with somebody because they're gay. It's not.
And it's not just the gay thing. He's talking about heterosexuals. That a man and a woman in a foxhole. You're out there. You've been out there for a long time. It's something you never had to worry about when you had two straight guys, and he's saying he cuddled up against somebody to stay warm.
You're going to have to worry
all
about
of a
that.
Sudden, I guess
whether or not there are women in the military.
Lieutenant Colonel, probably right.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a horn dog. That's all I'm saying. Depends on how much you are. I'm a very sexual person. It kind of depends on how sexual you are, I guess, right?
I guess so.
Okay, got a break. 8:50 at WIBX.